We're still up on the tripod. That's sunrise poking up through there. Apparently we're getting these beautiful morning colors from all the smoke and haze from the fires. I didn't know that. I watched the news last night. Apparently it's becoming quite serious. But it's a beautiful sunrise through there. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Welcome indeed to day number 9 on the Bruce Trail. Whew. Well, Cedar Springs Motel. What can I say? Let's take a look at the positives. The positives is it's still there. A positive is $80 is not a big amount of money nowadays for a motel room for the night. It's changed ownership. Different man owns it now. And the Cedar Springs Motel was never an high-end motel, believe me. I mean, definitely trail trash motel, no doubt about that. Location is a positive. It's right on the Bruce Trail. You walk right past the parking lot, right through the parking lot. But I cannot believe, I honestly cannot believe. Some people might think I'm exaggerating. Okay. My girlfriend said I exaggerate all the time. But I can't believe they actually checked me into a room that they checked me into and that I stayed at. I stayed in it because they let me have this room that they said was cleaned and ready to go at noon rather than 3 o'clock, and they didn't charge me any extra for that. But this room was absolutely atrocious. It was garbage. It was just a nasty, 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 nasty room. It made the Primrose Motel in Shelburne, oh sorry, the Shelburne Motel in Primrose, it made it look like a 5-star resort. Unbelievable. However, hot bath, check. Shave, baby's bottom, check. Resupply, check. Town food, check. I had fish and chips yesterday. They had a lunch-size fish and chips for 12 bucks, 13 with tax, at the fish and chip shop on the main street of Georgetown. And I got that. And then when I was shopping, I got a tub of mixed fruit, yogurt, and some yogurt. And I also purchased a Hungry Man Salisbury steak meal, which had potatoes and vegetables. Had those for dinner. I watched some TV and relaxed. Charged all my battery packs. Got my laundry all done again in the bathtub by hand, which is fine. Gets all the kind of heavy muck out and all the sweat. So I'm good to go. And go we shall, pushing south towards the southern terminus of the Bruce Trail. Hey, today, well, Kelso, we will leave, all things being equal, we will leave the Toronto section later on today, much later, just before camp actually. So we will put the Toronto section to bed and enter to the Iroquois section, so that's a big thing today. Kelso Park, it's around 29 kilometers maybe 30, I don't know, somewhere between 29 and 30 kilometers. They have spigot water, which we're going to get anyhow. We're going to rely on that for our camp water regardless, but there's good camping spots through there too, so that could be our destination. Could I push further than that? Possibly. I could do the climb up through the ski club there and up to the top and carry on for a while, depending on time of day. Depends on terrain, how things go. We shall see. Okay. Skitter scatter. Let's get at her. number 12438. Well, you have got it going on. What beautiful character in that home right there. I would so much love a home just like that. That is beautiful. Okay. Oh, I think a school bus through the trees. Oh, I think you'll see him. I just saw a glimpse of him. Oh, there he is again. Must be picking up the kids' time. Getting ready to pick up the kids' time. Okay. We know all about driving a school bus, don't we? Okay, let's keep moving on. Limehouse Conservation Area. Oh, and there's a garbage can. And I do have one wrapper to get rid of. So let's get rid of it. Okay. Well, remember how interesting Limehouse is. Now, last time I was here, they had that little kind of stone archway bridge over the rapid river, a creek, all kind of covered in a netting. Don't know if it'll be like that today. We'll see. Nice bench to sit on. Information, of course. Okay. Oh, thank you. You are here. Okay. Let's go. This is always an interesting kind of sight to see. The old kind of explosive shelter. 1850. Which is, well, the explosives were kept back in the day. Oh yeah. Pretty damn cool, isn't it? Pretty damn cool. Once we leave the Limehouse kind of conservation area, head back onto Single File Trail, there's a box here. And that box usually quite often has Bruce Trail maps. And if it does, I want to get me one. Let me see if there's any in there. Yes, there are. Whoever keeps this stocked, thank you so very much indeed for stocking this up. I'm going to take 2 this time because I need 2. I've actually got 3. Okay, well, I'm going to give some out, but I'm going to take those with me. Thank you. Let's take a moment, shall we, this morning, answer a question. Question just came in yesterday, and that was in regards to water filtration on the Bruce Trail. And this person had been told not to drink the water because all the water sources are surrounded by farmland. Now, I understand that logic. Don't get me wrong now. I do understand the logic behind the advice that this person received. However, hey, you know what? I want to show you something. I just realized one time in another heavy rainstorm, I just realized where I was. I camped right down there. And I remember that because the next morning I hung my tent over here to try to dry it out a little bit. Speyside Woods. Yeah. Okay, let's keep looking at the trail. So first of all, a lot of advice comes from a lot of different people with varying amounts of experience. Now what I mean by that is, and don't get me wrong, a person has to do what they feel is correct and right for them. However, take certain trails. One in particular that comes to mind is the Arizona Trail. Now the Arizona Trail is pretty much a dry trail. You do come to a water source maybe once each day. So you have to take advantage of that water source. You have to filter water, and you have to carry reasonably large amounts of water at times on the Arizona Trail. Some of these water sources could be anywhere from a beautiful river to a cow pond. Now the cow pond is where the cattle get their water from. And there's cow poop, and there's cow pee, and for the odd time a dead cow laying right in the middle of it. And yet, the hiker, the through hiker of the Arizona Trail, it's the only water source they have. They're going to have to filter their water from that water source and carry on about their day. Now, when we now kind of look here and say, well, here we are in Ontario on the Bruce Trail, and we're surrounded by farmland. Well, it's very true. But let me kind of tell you a little bit about your equipment. On this particular hike, I'm using a Catadyne B-Free, as we know. And again, over the years, I've had a love-hate relationship with them. But I did notice something about one yesterday, but I'll tell you about that later. And I also use Soya Squeeze. I like both of those particular filters. The Catadyne just comes in a little bit lighter, so I tend to use it a bit more. Having said that, the Catadyne B-Free and the Soya Squeeze and pretty much every other water filter for hiking out there is essentially certified to a particular level. I can't tell you what the microns are right now. I think it's something like 0.05 microns of bacteria or something like that. And as long as you have not allowed this particular filter to freeze, because any water filter like that, once it freezes, you got to throw it away. What happens is the membranes become, now the filter tissues, if you will, become brittle. They separate, they crack, and they're no longer effective at filtering water. And you may not know that, because water will just flow through there anyhow, but you may not know they're not filtering. So if you freeze one, actually like I did earlier this year, back in the spring when I was camping, trying out my Durston X-Mid one-person tent, I froze solid my Catadyne, so I did throw it away. Well, when I say I froze solid, I left it in my backpack, and the next morning my shoes were frozen solid. So how it goes to filter. Anyhow, what a person can do, and this is what I do. If I'm in any way, shape or form doubtful about the water that I am required to use, filter and so on, I will filter this water into my 1 liter smart bottle, and then I will shock it with a shock tablet, iodine, whatever it is, to just kind of give it a double whammy. Now keep in mind, you shock it after you've filtered it. So there you've got a filtering and a shocking of that water. If that makes you feel more secure, I have shocked water several times. Not much on the Bruce Trail. I think I did once because I got some out of an old bog. And it was fine. Filtered it and it was fine. But anyhow, so I understand where the person comes from saying, well, we're surrounded by farmland. I get it. But there's the hiker that, you know, can have a nice bottle of water waiting in their car at the end of their hike. And then there's a hiker that actually through hike something. And there is a difference. And if you're going to spend time hiking any great deal of distance on pretty much any trail, you're going to have to be comfortable and familiar with how to treat, filter, shock your water. But to answer that particular person, I think it was a lady, I don't know. To answer that person's question, don't worry about the water on the Bruce Trail. Just be advised at certain points there's reasonable distances between water sources, but quite often you can find off-trail access to water. What I mean by that is never be afraid to knock on a door and ask for water. Also, say at Stony Creek, I think it, what's it called? Devil's Punch Bowl? Is that what it's called? If that's dry, walk down that street. You're going to walk right into a Shopper's Drug Mart, buy yourself a 4-liter jug. There's access to water, but sometimes you will have water carriers on the Bruce, and Sometimes some of the water sources are few and far between. I'll give you an example. I left the Cedar Springs Motel this morning. I'm about 12 kilometers in for the day so far. I don't think I've seen a water source yet. So there's 12 kilometers. But I also know that, for instance, at Kelso at the end of this day, there's a water spigot there. There's a lake there. Anyhow, having said that, I hope it kind of clarifies certain things about water on the Bruce Trail. Don't be concerned. However, educate yourself. Know what kind of filter to use. Know how to shock your water. Be comfortable with your water. And you'll be just fine. Okay, let's continue. Beautiful little spot to take a break. I just finished one of my bacon jerky sandwiches on a bagel. It was the last of the bagels, and that was just one of 3 bagels that I brought from home when I first started, and today is day 9, so I've only had those 3 bagels. It took me 9 days to go through those 3 bagels. Day goes well. I'm about 16.5 kilometers in so far for the day. It's not late, it's still mid-morning. We're doing good. I had some hot chocolate with my bagel and bacon bagel. Ooh, it's a beautiful day. I believe right now we're in Speyside. We just came out of Speyside back there, and we turned right along a road, came to a 4-way intersection. Straight through that intersection, on the left side of the intersection was that old gas station that people talk about from back in the day. So straight through, and then a left turn into a parking area with lots of plaques kind of celebrating people. And just a short walk up the trail, just 2 minutes up the trail, you come to this bench. A little bridge right there. So I thought, you know what, I'm ready for like a break. I'll take one here, and we're going to keep pushing towards Kelso. I'm guessing Kelso for about 3-ish, and I guess that's where, excuse me, I guess that's where I'll get my camp water from. If I don't camp there, that's where I'll get my camp water from the spigots in the park, and I'll take a break there and then carry on, maybe, or camp there. We'll see. If I camp there, that will give me around 29 kilometers for the day. I would like to get a little more than that, but we'll just see. We'll just see how it works out and how I'm feeling. I'm feeling tired this morning. I didn't sleep that well in that motel last night. I seem to sleep better in the forest, to be honest with you, but anyhow, it's okay. It's okay. It's a beautiful day. Welcome to the Wilfred G. Crozier Nature Reserve. Okay, Wilfred, thank you for that welcome. Yeah, day goes well. Just met a young gentleman with his golden lab from Guelph, out for a day hike on the trails. Okay. I hear trains, I hear busy highways. You hear those trains too? Oh yeah. We're heading south, and we're getting south. Starting to see signs of the southern kind of areas as we push into busier kind of areas, slowly but surely. And that's fine too. The busy areas have a lot of beauty to offer. I know, because I've seen it before. Let's go. Along this section of trail, you go over a walkway bridge, and there's a quarry. In this case, it will be on our right as we head south, it'll be on the left as we head north. And I just started hearing kind of the rumbling of possibly a machinery. I wonder if we're coming up to that quarry. And that's funny because I was just thinking about that quarry. So something must have triggered, must have seen something that I recall that triggered. We are now leaving the Toronto section, entering the Iroquois section. Welcome to the Iroquois Club section of the Bruce Trail. Whew! Awesome. Awesome. We are right here. Kelso. Well, we'll be at Kelso very, very shortly. Alrighty then. Alrighty then. We have reached the Kelso Park, I guess, or center. I'm going to go over to the pavilion. I noticed for the first time since I've been coming through here, all COVID and so on and so on and so on, the visitor center itself has never been open. It was open today, so I wanted just to go peek and see what it was all about. Anyhow, let's just go to the pavilion, which is right through here. We'll check, see if the water is turned on, which is always a good thing. I hope it is. It always has been up to now, so we'll see. So anyhow, after chatting with my friend Scully, she told me about a tunnel that goes underneath the railroad tracks. Well, the walkway. I was concerned that the walkway, if I camp at Kelso Camp, that the walkway would be closed at like 5 in the morning. I would be able to get across. But I spoke to Scully and she said, nope, there's a tunnel that they can't close. So I thought, bonus. So I sat for another 30 minutes and relaxed and charged a GoPro battery to full and my phone, iPhone SE, to about 70% power. And then I thought, well, I got camp water, I got electrolyte water, I'm feeling good. It's 4 o'clock, it's actually 10 after 4 then, and I'm gonna keep going. So I elected to do the climb southbound out of Kelso with camp water on board. So that makes the pack that much heavier, but that's just the way it is. Quite often on some trails you have to carry camp water like constantly. Whenever you get it, you have to load up. Sometimes 4, 5, or possibly 6 liters of water, depending when the next source will be on some trails. But not this one usually, although it's got a little drier now. But anyhow, we're good. So yeah, making the climb southbound out of Kelso, and I'm going to push on another hour or two anyhow. We'll talk to you guys later. Wow. Just take a little look-see. Man, that haze, smoke from the fires, it's crazy. Oh, wow. Beautiful rock formations, cliffs. I could see them from way down below. But in all truthfulness, it wasn't that hard to get up here to them. Okay, well, let's keep pushing on. Our next resupply, all that it may be, is going to be at a Walmart day after tomorrow in Waterdown. Go right past the back of a Walmart, and continuing today instead of camping at Kelso. All that means is it's not going to change a lot in the big picture. It just means I'll arrive at Waterdown a little earlier, say in the day, than I would have if I'd have stayed at Kelso. There's a nice little restaurant that I like going to just across the parking lot. Well, I would go to Popeye's Chicken. I like Popeye's Chicken with their rice and beans. But there's also another, I don't know if it's called Michael's or Michelle's, something like that. I was there on my last through hike of the Bruce. It was a holiday. Not sure what holiday, Labor Day, I don't know. But anyhow, he was open, and it was a good breakfast. So I'll probably stop there. It gives me more time to do that day after tomorrow. Yeah, it's all good. And right now, when I was at the Kelso, at the pavilion there, we talked about foods and stuff, of course, and I'd mentioned the other day about the Alpine, it's like an apple granola type thing. And you put hot water with it, let it sit for a few minutes, and it makes this granola, apple, raisin type product, breakfast, whatever. But I had that, and I made coffee, and it just seemed to perk me right up. So even though I had my 30 kilometers in there, I said, you know what? We can go for another hour or two anyhow. And that's exactly what we're doing. So day 9 continues, and we're feeling fine. Hi everybody. Well, supper time. So today we finished the Toronto section, and we've made a good start into the Caledon Hills. We've made a good start into the Iroquois section. I knew I'd get it. I just have to think about it for a moment. Supper. Ramen bun. Ramen noodles, instant potato, which is the 3 cheese instant potato, and one of my chicken pouches. I've only got 1 chicken pouch left to my name, so until one of my daughters go into the States and get me some, I won't have any more of those left. Or until we start selling them in Canada. Probably really good. So 35 kilometers today. Tomorrow, oh, by the way, all the haze from the fires today, wow. Could really see that. And before, a few days ago, when I was thinking it was like a humidity, it didn't feel humid, but there was that haze there. And I didn't realize till last night when I watched the news at the Cedar Springs Motel, that we had so much of an issue with fires. When you're on trail, you're missing a lot of the news, so I didn't realize that. Wow. Anyhow, tomorrow I have a little spot in mind that I've camped at before. From where I am right now, I'm going to push over Nemo, so through Rattlesnake Point Park, across Nemo. So it's going to be a challenging day tomorrow. Over Nemo, road walk, and when I come off the road, as I jump into the forest, right there, I think it's 15th Side Road, something like that. There's a one side road, I forget, little camp spot that I used last year. It's perfect, right there. That's where I'm going to head for tomorrow. That would be about a 32.5 kilometer day. That'd be great. As I say, today was 35. So today's been the biggest day yet on this particular hike, 35 kilometers. We're doing just fine. It's end of day 9, tomorrow day 10, obviously. So, yeah. Surprising how quickly the miles do add up and how quickly they go by. You look back at the first day you started, and now tomorrow you're going to be into day 10 already. Wow. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a like, ask questions. I love answering questions if I can. There's a lot of good questions out there and a lot of good people asking them, and they have actual concerns, and I realize this is something I'm doing all the time out on trail. So honestly, water filtration, gear, food, where to camp, where not to camp, whatever. Ask questions. Hey, you guys have a great night. See you in the morning. Bright and early.